We're here with the 2020 Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifolio, and boy, that is sure a mouthful.
It's a lot to unbox. We'll tell you what all of that means. Let's go for a drive. Okay, Andrea, what do you have to put it in?
We got to put it in S for subscribe.
That's right. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, get future updates. And Andrea's Instagram is motormouth_Andrea.
Yep.
Here's a picture of her in front of the Stelvio Quadrifolio.
Oh.
And then the channel sort of Instagram is motormouth_auto.
Yes.
This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below. Okay, let's unbox this name. As you said, it's quite a long name.
It's quite a long name. So
Alfa Romeo, of course, is the brand.
Yes.
Stelvio is what?
Is the pass in Italy.
It's a road that goes through the Alps like this. So it's the Stelvio Pass, northern Italy, and then what does Quadrifoglio mean? Our research department has looked all of this up. So a research department, what does it mean?
I got to tell you, I love the history of it all. So Alfa Romeo started using the four-leaf clover in 1923.
I guess when they started racing, they used the four-leaf clover as good luck.
Yeah, then it was really about just luck, being lucky. And they've had some success with that. So the first four drivers, the leaves on the four-leaf clovers represent them.
Okay.
And then it used to be a diamond shape around the four-leaf clover, and unfortunately one passed away. And so they changed it to a triangle to represent the loss of the driver.
So the triangle is the three drivers remaining and the four original drivers.
That's right.
Yeah, that's cool. And
Isn't
Alfa
it?
Romeo this year is celebrating 110 years, and they have a long, rich history. Now, it can be spotty. There were times where Alfa maybe wasn't as strong as other times. They're really, with these new models, this and the Giulia, trying to relaunch them in North America.
Yes.
And they've gone through some updates to get that done.
And
Now,
and one of the biggest problems with Alfa Romeo is reliability.
Yeah.
And we don't have a rating for the 2020 with JD Powers, but we do have it for the 2019, and it came in at a 73% rating.
Yep.
Not terrible.
okay, I have a friend of mine, and he lives in Toronto, and I sent him a message on Facebook because he had one of these for 2 years.
Yes.
Okay. He said there was a sensor replaced under warranty, which is really kind of minimal. Car was brilliant. Apple CarPlay only crashed once in 2 years. He says one of my staff has the X3M 40, which is a higher performance X3, and he says CarPlay maybe works half the time. One of the best cars I've ever owned, would definitely get another, but I don't need it daily much anymore, so I traded it for a Porsche 911 Cabriolet. So because of COVID, he's not going to the office anymore, so he got a fun car to drive instead.
That's great. See, that's an excellent real-world review.
Yeah, so there you go. That's from someone that actually had this very same car, same engine, same high-performance model. So the Quadrifolio is the high-performance version. What do you get for your money, Drea?
Wow. We are dealing with a beast here with 505 horsepower and 443 pound-foot of torque.
You know what's interesting? The engine under the hood of this is a 2.9 liter V6 turbo, exactly the same size and displacement as the Porsche Macan Turbo and their GTS. Same thing, 2.9 liter, and but they don't have as much power as this engine.
No, the Macan Turbo has 434 horsepower and 406 pound-foot of torque, which is quite a bit less. Do you know what the actual beast is for torque?
Yeah, it's the Mercedes-Benz GLC 63S.
Yes, 516 pound-foot of torque.
Now they use a V8
True.
in this size, and it's turbocharged. All of the others have 6-cylinder turbos.
Very true.
So the other contenders in this are the X3M, which has, with the competition package, has over 500 horsepower.
That's right.
The Mercedes-Benz, as you mentioned. So there are some other players out there. But what I want to talk about just for a second is the non-Quadrifoglio version. The regular Stelvio, the 4-cylinder turbo, is the champion when it comes to power. So most of those, like the X3, the GLC, all of those cars we kind of touched on, they're all around 250 horsepower.
Yes.
So the Stelvio is 280 horsepower. And I've driven the base model, and it is a load of fun to drive.
Yeah, you said that. You really enjoyed it. So there's something different in this Alfa Romeo when it comes to driving dynamics. Usually we see kind of comfort, sport, eco.
Yeah.
This is DNA, which stands for dynamics, which is their sport mode, natural, which is their comfort level, and then A, which is all weather.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting. This sort of tells you what this car is all about. So typically, in the middle of that dial where it says DNA, there's a little shock absorber button in the middle.
Yeah.
And typically in most brands, when you hit that, that makes the suspension firmer. No, not the Alfa Romeo.
No.
You hit that button and it says soft, damper, active.
Active, yeah.
Soft mode. It's like totally opposite. Oh no, we always go firm.
Yes.
You like it firm.
I like a firm ride. We know that.
Now you go soft.
Now you go soft. Who wants to go soft when you can go firm? Now, what do you think about the sound? Because it is different than the Porsche Macan Turbo, isn't it? Like, what do you think this sound is?
I would call it kind of raspy. It's kind of got a raspy sound, and the Macan Turbo is kind of more throaty sound.
So I think I prefer throaty over raspy. You know what? We got to take a break.
A break?
A break.
Now, Andrea, we've stopped here. Looks like you've got a picnic going on. What is going on?
I sure do, because this reminds me of Italy. And when you go to Italy, you have to stop, you have to pause, you have to enjoy the day. So I made us some espresso.
Okay, I'll take the blue one, I'm guessing.
Okay, let's not spill, because we are in a pricey
Fancy.
car. Yeah, pricey.
This is a nice treat.
Isn't
It's so
it?
true, because I remember we flew into Milan and we were driving to Lucca.
That was our first time in Italy.
Yeah, we've been there twice. We
Yes.
drove to Lucca and we stopped at this cafe and said, coffee to go? And they're like, what is this? Sit. Enjoy.
They thought we had two heads.
Yeah, so here.
Cheers. Cheers to our espresso.
Now, while we're stopped,
Delicious.
I think there's another reason why we're stopped. We can talk and enjoy the interior while we're doing this.
We can.
So the big update for this vehicle, they've updated this. And a lot of the reviews when this vehicle first came was, it was a little bit plastic fantastic.
Yes.
And it didn't really befit a premium brand. And now they've changed it. What do you think of it?
Yeah, especially this shifter. It was actually wrapped in plastic and now it's wrapped in leather. So that's a big improvement. I quite like the interior. I like the idea of feeling like you're in a race car. They're kind of mimicking that a bit. From the steering wheel, looks like a race car steering wheel.
The push button start.
Yes, all of that. I usually don't like an integrated screen, but I prefer a floating one. But this was quite nice, and I think there's lots of great detail with the stitching. I like the combination between the leather and the suede in the car.
Okay. So what they've done with this is updated the center console. This one has carbon on it. The screen is now up to 8.8 inches. That's standard
right.
equipment.
Yeah.
The instrument cluster is 7-inch TFT display, but this is where it starts to kind of fall down a little bit in my eyes. You don't get a full digital instrument cluster like you do with all the German brands. I'm okay with that. I just think that the gauges don't look particularly high end. There is still some hard plastic in here. So you've got leather on the top, you've got this carbon, and then you've got this hard plastic in the middle. There's hard plastic at the bottom. The German brands are going back to hard plastic at the bottom too. So I would say I give it an 8 out of 10 for the improvements. And I do agree with you. It's very sporty looking.
Super sporty looking. It has a beautiful sunroof. They've done some things really well in here. When we look at the comfort level of the seats are very firm. I don't mind them, but I think if you're looking for a more comfortable seat, this may not be the vehicle for you. When we talk about the back seat, it's pretty firm.
Yeah, and on size, This vehicle is bigger than a Macan, but it isn't the biggest for the back seat.
No.
I just had one of those cookies. Was it a lemon one?
It's lemon. One lemon, one hazelnut.
Oh, really good. So it's bigger than the Macan,
Yeah.
but if you want space in this premium category, now the X3M is going to be really good, and the GLC. I would say this offers more space than the Macan, especially the cargo area.
Yeah, cargo space is actually quite good in this. It's very deep and long. I think that people would be quite impressed with that.
Yeah, deep and long is good.
You like those, don't you? Why don't you have mine?
Okay, I could be here all day doing this.
I know, have mine. I have more. And what about all of our great pictures in Italy, right? I mean, we went to Lucca, gorgeous little town, so much to do
Gorgeous
there.
gal in a gorgeous town right there, I tell you.
Oh, Zach.
We went to Rome. Here's a picture of us in front of the Vatican.
Was
by the
that
way,
incredible?
when we got out of the taxi and we walked up to the Vatican, we were like, wow, that is impressive. And by the way, and the last trip we did London, Paris, and Rome.
Yeah.
Rome, the best by far.
My favorite,
Yeah.
my absolute favorite, even over Paris. Can you believe
Yeah,
that?
Paris is beautiful, but Rome is something else.
And then Portofino. Oh my goodness. And your pizza, the food in Portofino, just a stunning location.
And where's the last one we're going to go?
Oh, Amalfi.
Oh, the Amalfi Coast.
Yeah. And look at that picture with all the bright colors. I think that's one of my favorites.
So it was 2 summers ago. I emailed, because Alfa was in the market now in Canada, I emailed the PR guy from Alfa Romeo and I said, by the way, we're going to be in Italy for 2 weeks. Any chance we could get an Alfa Romeo Giulia or one of these?
Yeah.
And he went, ha, 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 ha. Oh, that's so funny.
He laughed
Yeah.
and he gave us a thumbs down.
We did get an FCA product, though. We got a Jeep Renegade, and it was great. That was a great little car.
It was great. And you have to be aggressive when you drive there.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of aggressive, my turn to drive. After this, we'll be back in a minute. Hang on.
Zach's going to finish his cookies, which you love. There's more at home.
So now I'm all jacked up on caffeine.
Great. That's where we like to be. Isn't it?
You know what? How much did I travel before COVID?
So much, like 300,000 miles a year. It was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, most times 200. Last year I did 300,000 miles. And one of the trips I did last year was with Porsche for the Taycan. But what I miss is the access to the people that make the cars.
Yeah.
Right? So at dinner, I think we were in Denmark driving the Taycan. I got to sit at dinner with a chassis engineer for Porsche. So how cool is that?
Very
cool. So I start talking to this guy. We're talking about Taycan. And then I bring up Macan.
Yeah.
And I was bringing it up because they don't have dynamic chassis control on the Macan, and I asked them why that is. That's another subject. But then we started talking about this car, and I said, I think that the Stelvio is maybe a better handling car than the Macan. And he didn't disagree, but he said they have a different approach than Alfa Romeo. He actually had this exact same car with the big engine in it for a week from Alfa Romeo, and he said it's very sharp. It's like more of a weapon, where the Macan has a broader spectrum of potential, right?
Yeah, for sure. And you can see that with the Macan. You get the power, it's got good handling, but there's also a comfort level to it.
Yeah.
He's right about this. It is sharp on every level.
And the brakes on this thing are unbelievable. You look at the brake pedal and bam, this thing stops.
Yeah.
So you've got that. The steering is very precise and sharp. The suspension, if you want it to be, can be really quite firm. Here's the thing, is you got to go in knowing that this is a sharp car.
Yes.
Now, the regular Stelvio isn't as much as this, but this one certainly is.
Yeah, and like you said, you've got to look at it that way as well. Some people may not like it, that it is so sharp. It handles so well. I just can't believe how much I enjoyed it. But there is something about the comfort level that I'm not sure I would want to drive it every single day.
This would be a great second car,
Yes.
right? To have your...
Or third, or fourth, or fifth.
And you know what? I think that people who buy these sorts of cars, like You know, what's the price on this one?
112,000.
As
Just
tested.
over 112,000 is tested.
But it doesn't start at 112.
No, it starts at 96.2.
And we looked at the X3M, the GLC 63S, all those, and they're all right around the same price.
They're all around the same price depending on what you're getting in it, you know, what boxes you're ticking.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, a select few people are going to buy this car. The regular Stelvio, as I mentioned, already has more power than the others. So it's not like this, but a lot of the same ingredients are here. It's a load of fun to drive. If you can afford this vehicle or any of its competitors, this sort of purchase isn't that big a deal, to be honest with you, right?
Yeah, and it's a unique vehicle. The person who buys this for $112,000 may have many other cars to choose from on a daily basis. How lucky are they?
Yeah, and the thing is, if you've tried all kinds of different German brands, for example, and you want something different, well, this is different and it's fun. And you want to go back to Italy when COVID's done?
Absolutely.
Ciao. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.